Whoops. Hi everyone, welcome back. Sorry that took a little bit. Sam and Max. That's a point-and-click adventure game. Okay. It was clear Jared didn't want to talk about it anymore. The issue wasn't closed, but it was time to pull away and rethink what was happening. I headed into the dorm as Jared waved at me from behind. Once I was safely in the stairwell, he turned away, but didn't start walking back. I should just leave him alone. I climbed the stairs to my floor, desperately happy that I didn't run into anyone else on the way to my room. Oh. By the time I got home, it had been a full hour. I crept into the room, hoping beyond hope that Mai had gone to sleep by now. Hana, but of course not. Thank goodness you're back! Mai swept me up in a swift hug. When she finally released me, I closed the door and smiled. Sorry about that, I was a terrible liar, so I tried to stick as close to the truth as possible. Mai's eyes flashed. Trouble, look at you! You're a complete mess! I looked down, grass and dirt stained my shirt. I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't my blazer and in my hair too. Crap.
What the hell?
Who hurt you? No, it was nothing like that. I just ran into someone and we stopped to talk for a bit. Did you literally run into them? Otherwise, there was no way I was going to be able to worm my way out of this. But I couldn't tell Mai what I saw. My mind raced. I couldn't think of someone I could have seen that wouldn't blow up in my face down the line. I couldn't say I'd seen one of the normal boots guys because Mai would probably mention it to them, and I couldn't reveal anyone in the D&D group. Jared. Jared? She turned away from me, climbed to the top of her bed, and grabbed his stuffed bear. Tell me, were you guys on a date? Was he trying to seduce you? Don't tell me you guys... No, God heavens, no! I couldn't tell Mai. Could I? She seemed trustworthy after all. I couldn't imagine that she'd tell anyone. But that didn't mean she wouldn't. Jared's playing D&D didn't seem that big a deal to me, but he obviously thought it was. Chicks before dicks, Hana. Okay. Crap. Where did my loyalty lie? Tell Mai about the promise. Exactly. That's exactly what I thought. I promised not to tell anyone, so I'm sorry, Mai. I can't tell you. Mai was my best friend. She deserved the truth, but Jared was my boyfriend and I made a promise to him. Shouldn't I keep it? As I looked at Mai on the other edge, eyes shining, I couldn't leave her hanging. I can't tell you. Her face fell. I really wish I could, but I promised Jared I wouldn't. There's something he doesn't want anyone to find out. I wasn't even supposed to figure it out, but it was an accident, so... Mai held up her hand.
Really?
Stop talking. You're only making me more curious. She gazed at the ceiling. I guess it's okay you can't tell me. At least I know you're trustworthy, right? She gave me a half-hearted chuckle, but I couldn't tell what it was bothering her. This is why I hate promises! I don't see why things have to be secret, and sometimes it's important to tell other people. Hana, stop talking. I'm gonna go to bed and try to stop thinking about this. Promise me one thing though. Not another promise. Promise me Jared's okay, and if he's ever not okay, you'll tell me what's going on. Promise me. Of course, he's completely fine. It's not a big deal, it's rather... Her eyes narrowed. I swallowed. I promise. Thank you. Well, I'm going to sleep. Me too. Good night.
Night.
Night. Feeling terrible, I changed into my pajamas. Did I make the right decision? Mai was my friend, my best friend. She deserved the truth and honesty from me at all times. But I made a promise to someone I cared about my boyfriend. Do boyfriends deserve more loyalty than friends? A promise is a promise. It has nothing to do with who it is, I think. Mine was there before, and to be realistic, it was likely she'd be there after. If there was an after. An uneasy feeling sat in my stomach, but as I drifted to sleep, I began to wonder whether there even was a right answer to be had. After that night, things seemed to improve with Jared. It was as if my discovery of his secret love for D&D cemented some kind of decision or inner turmoil of his. He relaxed around me, and his odd, stilted speech almost disappeared. Don't worry, ladies. There's hope for each and every one of you to find your truest loves. It can't all be me.
Oh, Jared.
Mostly. He still spoke that way around other people, and especially around other girls. But at least around me, he spoke like a normal person. Part of me wanted to ask him why, but after that night, I decided it was much better not to ask questions. I felt almost like even asking the question would be majorly distressing to him. That's not good. To be honest, he was confusing. I didn't know who he really was, but he still treated me well, and I liked hanging around him. I progressed past the point of a crush and could now talk with him as if he were a normal person. That's how I ended up here in the first place, having an amiable midday picnic with several girls from my class. Apparently, it was best to share him.
Jared, what is your favorite?
Kusu stopped mid-sentence and emitted an odd beeping noise. Thank you for the host, Xwater. Thank you.
TV series?
Kakusa, I told you, you have to stop making that noise.
I formally apologize.
My favorite TV show? That would have to be Flame of Bones, of course. Oh, copyright.
Ah, good choice, good choice. Indeed, what a classic piece of contemporary visual and literary mediums. Hana, what is your favorite TV series?
Whoops. What was my favorite series? When I thought of it, only one series came to mind. Something from a long time ago, back when I was still young. Hey, Xwater! Yo. I would go over to my best friend's house and we would watch an anime about an average high school girl who could transform and save the world. We would play around and pretend to be the characters from the show on the playground. I the heroine and he the mysterious masked savior. The other kids would always tease us because, well, we were watching anime. After that I kept my favorite show to myself. Almost forgot about it. Surely now that we were much older it wouldn't be a problem. I wasn't going to lie in any case. Whoops. God damn it. I kept pressing the right mouse key. My favorite show is Sailor Sun. I blushed and laughed self-consciously. I know it's not really the coolest thing, but... I glanced at Mimi, who was looking at me doubtfully. Kakusu looked as if she was going through a database, trying to find the history of the show.
Oh wow, anime, really?
I mean, wow! So you both like that kind of thing? She looked doubtfully at Jared. I suspected she wanted some kind of confirmation from him. If he thought it was okay, then it was okay. I relaxed, pleased to be off the hook. No! What? Me? Of course? No, of course not! I stared at Jared in shock. He was very intentionally not looking at me. Yeah, man, I'm totally not about that weeby shit. People who like that kind of thing are weird. What the hell, Jared? Jeez, Hana, don't get mad at Jared. He was just being honest about his opinion.
Verified.
We looked at Kakusu, who was unsure whether she was contributing to the conversation, or whether she finally finished adding Sailor Sun to her database. How are you doing, Xwater? I would never watch shows like that, Jared. I love Flame of Bones. I watch it live. If you want, we could watch it together sometime. Jared looked nervously from Mimi to me. That's okay. I think I'll pass. Very busy with school and everything. Oh, that's too bad. I grit my teeth. The conversation continued without me. Jared getting more and more flowery as time passed. All the while, I tried to console myself. It was just a small thing. It was just a few sentences. It was just a conversation. At the same time, it wasn't. I was in my own way asking for support, and Jared didn't give it to me. No, he left me completely hanging. If someone asked him about D&D, would he have lied too? Or would he have stood up for himself? I would have stood up for him. So did he lie like this all the time? Or would he always throw me under the bus when it came down to it? Finally, after what seemed an agonizing amount of time, Mimi and Kakusu left. Jared stood, waving to them even minutes after they went. Boy knew he'd done messed up. I waited patiently until he sat back down on the blanket. Class would be starting soon, but I was so upset I didn't even care. Jared clenched his fist in his lap. Hana, why did you do that? Do what? I glared at him. Lie to them? Well, it's not as though I lied to them. I loved watching Phoenix Ball X as a kid. As a kid, I don't watch anime anymore. Because it's weeb shit? Look, that's not what I meant to say. Really, then what did you mean to say, and why didn't you say it? You're being awful demanding right now, Hana. What? You should calm down. I just said something wrong. It's not like I did anything wrong. It's not about what you said, it's about what it meant that you said it. You said it was about what I said, and I didn't mean to say it, so... You still said it, though! Hana, calm down. You're being completely unreasonable. I shut my mouth. So livid I no longer had the capability to express it physically. Instead, I felt eerily calm, except for the steady pounding of my heart. I am done talking with you. I stood and grabbed my bag, heading for the classroom. Hana, really? I ignored him and kept walking. I wouldn't have been able to walk with him in that moment, if even I wanted to. Wow. I made it to class just before the bell rang and slung my backpack on its hook. I think I might have made a mistake, but let's see this to the end. Maya must have seen the look on my face, because the cheery greeting she usually gave died on her lips at the sight of me. She sat there, fuming for the entirety of the class. My mind kept running over and over what he said. Why I didn't say anything back, why I didn't get up and leave right then. What if I really was overreacting? Or more importantly, why was Jared like this? Was it even worth dating him? Ooh. The next morning crawled slowly by. I went through my normal morning routine, shower, brushing teeth, changing clothes, doing my hair, as Maya looked on. Are you feeling okay? Yes, I'm fine. It was the 6th time she asked since the incident, but I really just didn't want to talk about it. My seething anger had since died, now that I could look at the situation in a relatively cold light of the new day. I didn't even know how I felt about what happened. I knew Jared didn't want people seeing that. Other side of him, but I never thought he was the kind of person who would throw someone else under the bus. Especially someone he claimed to care about. That was really what was bothering me. Mike kept murmuring comforting platitudes about no one remembering things like this when they were on their deathbeds. I wasn't worried about the embarrassment. The longer I dated Jared, the more I felt like I didn't want to know him at all. I catch glimpses of one Jared, but just when I thought I had him figured out, he'd do something to knock me completely off kilter. If I didn't know who he was, how could I say that I liked him? Was it my duty as a girlfriend to accept all of him, even when he was being a jerk? I wanted to stay that mad. I wanted to hold it against him, to make sure he wouldn't repeat something like that again. I also wanted to make up with him, and to never see him again at the same time. How could that be? Oh, is this how relationships are for everyone? They're awful. Why does anyone date anybody ever? Wow, my heart jumped into my throat. I recognized that knock. Were you expecting someone? No. I stood watching me for a moment. I turned to my backpack and began shuffling through my papers, pretending to look for something. Finally, Mai answered the door. Hey Mai, is Hana there? It's rather early, don't you think? It is, sorry. I just really want to talk to her about something. You better. Mai looked at me over her shoulder, a question in her face. You want me to tell him to shove up? I'll be there in a second. Could you wait outside while she finishes getting ready? Sure. Stop at Windows 10. Mai tiptoed over to me and leaned down to my ear. The doors were really thin, and she clearly didn't want to be heard. What is he doing here? I don't know. Don't ask me. Are you sure you want to go with him? He was a total asshat yesterday. I slipped my bag over my shoulder. I want to at least hear him out. I think. Okay, well, I'll see you in a little bit anyways. You come tell me what happened afterwards, alright? Don't be afraid to kick his ass. He totally deserves it. I smiled weakly at her. Yes, ma'am. I closed the door behind me, not bothering to look at Jared. To be honest, I didn't know whether I was supposed to be mad or happy. I figured it was best to put off that decision until he revealed what he came for. And my poker face was terrible. Hana, do you want to walk to class together? I want to talk to you. I nodded, still avoiding his eyes, and we headed down the hallway together. The few scattered girls who were running to and from the bathroom shot us wide-eyed looks. I didn't know whether they knew what happened yesterday, but regardless, it was an extreme rarity to see a boy in the hall period, let alone a boy first thing in the morning. Let alone Jared. We stepped out into the crisp morning air with happy sighs. It thankfully wasn't humid today. The sunlight poured onto the lawn, flickering slightly as clouds blew across its surface. There was a silence for a moment as we both wondered what to do next. Trees rustled in the distance. It almost sounded like a storm was coming. Hana, I'm so sorry. Startled, I finally looked at him. His face was pained, almost like he wanted to cry. I'm the worst type of person there is. I can't tell you how much I regretted what I said right after I said it. I wish I did something different. And then, when you left, I was so ashamed to go see you and apologize. But you deserve an apology. Not that it makes up for what I did, but I'm just... He heaved a sigh. Before me, the confident and assured Jared crumpled like a bag of potato chips. I'm really bad at making friends, and dating, I guess. I don't want people to get too close. I want to be perfect for you, for everyone, but I'm not perfect, and I know that. I know it's unreasonable, but that doesn't stop me from wanting it. I'm terrified that if someone finds out that I'm not perfect, they'll just give up on me. It sounds really stupid, it sounds like something I should just be able to get over. Because it doesn't even make logical sense. I've got people who care about me. I've got people who know that I'm not everything I appear to be, and they're still with me. But still, when it comes right down to it, even with someone I care about, like you, He stopped and stared down at his shoes. I'm sorry. He ran a hand through his hair and laughed. That didn't even make any sense, did it? No, it did. I didn't know what to say. It was kind of a hard thing to process. As Jared was being stupid, but just pointing out that his thinking was incorrect wasn't going to help him. And he did do something completely out of line with me. Was I supposed to forgive him, or was I supposed to continue being angry and to stand up for myself? Which was the right decision? I wanted to forgive him, but I didn't want to be a doormat. Okay. I have a feeling that this is another bullshit decision. But I think the best thing would be to forgive him. To give him another shot to do it right. But that might not be the right choice. I'll save. I forgive you, Jared. It's okay. At least I understand. We all make mistakes sometimes, and we're not perfect. That is very correct. I shot him a grim, and he offered a weak smile in return. But you know, regardless of what other people think, I like you for who you are. I think before we started dating, I had this image of you that wasn't complete. It was a facade. But now I feel like I know you better, and to be honest, that makes me really happy. I know you don't want people to find out these things about you, but the D&D, the card games, these are the things I really like about you. Way more than your perfect image. I like you the way you are. I wish I could see more of that. You don't ever have to be afraid of being yourself with me. Yes! Hana, In one smith movement, I was swept into a hug.
Jared.
Jared? Thank you, Hana. Jared? People are going to see. You released me and took a step back. Right, you don't like PDA, sorry. I didn't mind this time. I stared down at my fidgeting hands. Jared was glowing with happiness. Come on, let's get you to class. He dropped me off at the classroom and waved goodbye. Once inside, Mai nearly ran me over. What happened? Are you okay? Yeah, everything should be fine now. He apologized to me. Whoops. And seemed to really regret it. Mai nodded, but still looked somewhat put off. Something wrong? No, I mean, he apologized after all. But the odd look remained on her face as we headed to our seats. Tell me what's up, Mai, don't lie. Okay, don't get mad at me, alright? I tend to look at people's actions to see what kind of people they are. That Jared did this to you right off the bat, right after you started dating, it worries me. I don't think he's a bad guy, but still, he did throw you under the bus. Just saying. Yeah. But if he really doesn't do it again, there's nothing to worry about. People can make mistakes. What's important is that he follows through on his words. Yeah. If he does it again, we know we made a mistake. Probably. After our conversation, I trusted Jared. I thought he would follow through, even if Mai didn't. Mai really was a stickler when it came to guys in relationship, wasn't she? As the rest of the class filtered in, I watched Mai gazing out the window, one question pounded through my head. Why? I was studying at my desk one afternoon when Mai and PBG came bursting in through the door. Hana, I have a surprise! PBG shut the door behind him, and Mai lowered her voice. Hana, we snuck some beer into the school. Want a drink with us? I looked up from my work and finally noticed that she and PBG had tiny brown cans in their hands. It looked like something that came from a vending machine. In Japan, it was fairly easy to come across alcohol if you really wanted it. Most people looked the other way at underage drinking, so long as you didn't cause a fuss. That being said, I never had anything to drink before, and I didn't think Asagao would be so lax about it. There was a stipulation in my scholarship that said, were I to be caught consuming alcohol, my scholarship would be given up. If that happened, there was absolutely no way I could keep going here, even with my father spending almost all of his money on me. It would be reckless and selfish of me to do that, even if I wanted to. No, that's okay. Okay, but you don't mind if we do, right? My friends like to drink, so you can go ahead. I'm used to it. As probably could have been expected, my tolerance was already quite high, and being so experienced, neither drank enough to have too much of an effect. Instead, they played board games, just slightly louder than usual. Ugh. You took my monster out of Tokyo! Yeah, I did, because he's dead now! Just slightly. As Jared's fashion show grew closer, he became more and more antsy. We were already rocky enough as it was. Although he had apologized, it still felt hurt. I was trying to convince myself that he hadn't meant it, or that he learned from it, but my suspicions were ingrained in my head. Maybe he was the most important person to himself after all. They did say attractive people were more self-centered. But I felt bad for even these thoughts. After all, he was my boyfriend, and I should support him. No, wait, I should support him because I cared about him, right?
Hey, what's up?
You okay, Hana? You look kinda bummed. No, I'm fine, sorry.
Ma stared at me, obviously not believing me. Instead, I turned my attention to the conversation in front of us. Only a few weeks left, so you have to make sure to utilize that time wisely. Let's see, how's my tournament points? 15. That doesn't look good. That's plenty of time. I think you're taking this a little too seriously. If you don't practice, Hidden Block will end up winning. Do you want that? The group cast a glance across the cafeteria. The Hidden Block Club were competing to see who could most effectively balance their tray on his chopstick. All except for Ian, who was watching with a tiny smile on his face.
Well...
An extra practice period couldn't hurt. They agreed to have an extra practice at some point in the near future. I finished my spaghetti, absolutely positive that some point would never come. I headed back to Poppy Hall, with Mai grilling me about what was wrong. I was about to cave and expel all of my doubts when a piercing scream hit the air. No! Mai and I turned. Birds were scattering off in the distance from the direction of the field.
Did you hear that?
Should we go look?
Yeah, we should go look.
We ran to the field with everything in our bodies, passing other students who evidently had the same idea. But when we got to the field, we found it completely empty. No dead bodies, no raging fire, no alien robots taking over.
Lame.
Agreed. Wallet evidently ran here with everybody else, and was glaring across the field.
But I swear there was a noise from here. All these people didn't hallucinate at the scream at the same time.
Well...
Unless you want to stay in search. Unless you want to stay in search and risk being late for class.
No, I can't afford a tardy or they remove me from the next volleyball match.
What?
What? You should get going then. I checked the time and gasped.
Shit, Hana, I'm going ahead of you!
She sprinted off down the way, minor clouds of dust in her wake. Wallet turned to me. I'm heading off too. Coming this way?
I won't fraternize with the enemy.
Hold on. The thing is, if I'm going along with him, I can't see what Jared's up to. So, Wallet narrowed his eyes. I see how it is. Clever. Very clever. Not as clever as my plan, but still clever.
Bye.
I'll see you later then. He waved at me, then disappeared from down the path. I waited a few moments, then began to follow him until... Psst! Hana! Who? A hand tugged at the back of my collar and I was pulled into the bushes. What? A hand wrapped itself over my mouth and someone whispered to me. Please be quiet. I can't let anyone see me like this. A voice sounded familiar. I ceased my struggling. When Wallet was out of sight, I was released. I turned and found, well... Ooh. Oh no! He got stung by bees! Jared? Hana, it's awful! My face! My beautiful face! I should never have bothered to come here in the first place! What happened? Are you allergic to something? Bees happened, Hana! Bees! Those demon bugs sought me as their valiant nemesis, and I... Thank you for the follow, oh dear God! And I, the peace-loving Jared, wanted only some pretty flowers to brighten my sorrowful maiden's day. He held up a small bundle of pink flowers. I gently looked at them. I gently took them. But now my face, it's swollen and oh, I can't even bear to look at it. The fashion show is tomorrow. How am I supposed to go like this? I've been preparing for it all year.
Jared, I'm so sorry.
Don't worry, Jared. It's gone the next day. That's how it works.
Jared, I'm so sorry.
I felt guilty, even though it technically wasn't my fault. But if he hadn't been up there gathering flowers for me, he wouldn't have gotten stung. It was still partially my fault, wasn't it?
What are you going to do now?
I can't go out like this. I can't, Hana. That's it. That's it. I'm ruined. He threw his hands up in the air, then collapsed in a heap on the ground.
Jared?
He sat there silently, head in his hands.
I wish there was something I could do to help.
Wait! He shut up again, a finger raised triumphantly into the air. There is something you can do! Take my place in the show.
What?
Take my place in the show, Hana. I know you can do it. You are so beautiful. You'd be perfect. I can't believe I didn't think of it sooner.
Jared, I'm not a model.
I know, but you could be. There was no way that was true. Absolutely no way. Do you not think you're beautiful?
Not really.
Oh. What? What? But how could you look in the mirror and not see it? He put a finger to his lumpy chin, stroking it thoughtfully. Is this what being a woman is like? I want to say no, rather. I think it's what being born normal is like. But you will help me, won't you, Hana? I paused, conflict shredding my stomach. Modeling in a fashion show sounded like the absolute antithesis of anything I ever wanted to do. Putting myself in the spotlight for people to critique my body, my face, my hair. Even if Jared sincerely thought I was beautiful, I doubted anyone else would. But I looked at Jared's distraught, sincere, bloated face. He was truly upset, and I couldn't help him like this. Even if I didn't want to do it, at least for Jared.
I guess I could try it.
Hana! He grabbed my hands in his and held them up to his face, kissing them repeatedly. Oh Hana, my savior, my flower, how did I ever become worthy of such an angel? There was again that weird grandiose talk.
Yeah, great.
Go to the theater an hour early tomorrow and everything will be fine. I'll be right in the front row supporting you, so don't worry. Oh, and Hana.
Yes?
He looked at me, eyes shining, but shook his head. Never mind. You should get to class, or you'll be late.
Oh, right, I'll be going then.
Be safe! I waved and dashed across the field, hoping I would make it in time. I didn't. Miss Shizuka berated me in front of the entire class, but to be honest, I was so nervous about what just happened it hardly touched me. I was going to be in a fashion show, in front of the entire school, in front of everybody? And why did it matter so much to Jared? Did he really care, or was he trying to save his image? I was the type to do this kind of thing, I really wasn't, but I would just have to deal and go through with it. I accepted it after all, and I wanted to help Jared, even if I personally thought everything he did to save his image was stupid. It still mattered to him. He was in genuine distress, and if it made him feel better, then even if I was terrified. There was no way. No way. Just no way. What was I going to do? It was the day of the fashion show that I caved. I rushed into my dorm room and found my stash of alcohol. It wasn't that I wanted to get drunk, it was just that I couldn't handle it. I didn't think I was going to be able to handle it. So I knew I was wrong. I knew it wasn't a good way to cope. But at that moment, with the responsibility that was suddenly thrust upon me, the alcohol emerged from the heavens as if the hand of God. I opened the can and I took my first sip. Ah! Oh, what? This is disgusting! But I guess people don't drink it for the taste. I drank first one can, then two. I didn't know how much to drink to have an effect. Oh. Oh God, no. I had seen people drinking before, but they all seemed to need 3 or 4 cans before they even started getting tipsy. I made it through 3 cans before I looked up and realized the room was wobbling before my face. It's not a good way to start with alcohol. I had 1 glass once and it made me dizzy. Like, empty stomach, glass beer. Nope, not good. I moved my head left to right. Well, not dizzy, but I mean, just a little bit shaky. I moved my head left to right and then tilted it from shoulder to shoulder. I feel, my head feels so heavy. Oh, I should be speaking this out loud. I should be thinking. I giggle, feeling very distant from the gnawing anxiety that still caught at my stomach. I think it worked. Well, I looked at the clock. 12:40. Well, what was the show? 1, 2. I should get going. I said and immediately fell back on the floor, giggling. I was so unprepared for the amount of pressure that was going to be on my knees. Don't worry, I'll do better this time. I said again, this time more carefully. It took a second day. It took a second for my head to catch up to where my body was, but when it did, my balance was fine.
Yeah.
To the fashion show. Somehow, someway, I made it to the theater. The back room was very dark and buzzy with people, mostly tall, beautiful Asagao students, and the rainbow of high fashion ensembles. I don't think Jared did it on purpose. I'm not sure. Loud music was thumping from the main room of the theater, reverberating in my already dazed head. I looked around nervously for Jared, hoping for a few encouraging words from my boyfriend before going out on stage. Unfortunately, he was nowhere to be found. I could only assume he was too ashamed of his face to even be backstage.
Hana, over here.
I turned to see Mimi and Kakusu. Kakusu was holding up a makeup brush and smiling cheerfully while Mimi clutched a clipboard and tried to look important.
You're late.
I'm sorry, Before I could finish, Kakusu grabbed my hand and dragged me over to a brightly lit vanity mirror that was swimming with makeup. She applied a thick, sticky gloss to my lips that I instantly wanted to wipe off. Should I keep doing the drunk talk? Oh, Jared just wanted Hana to be doing the fashion show because his face got stung by bees. I watched the other students behind me in the mirror. Some were practicing their walks with perfect poise. Others were cooing excitedly over each other's outfits. Everyone looked so happy and prepared. I gulped.
All finished.
I looked back at myself in the mirror. Kakusu had applied a tasteful, natural-looking amount of makeup to my slightly flushed face.
Wow, Kakusu, this looks really good.
I took care to turn my face away from her as I spoke, pretending to inspect the light blush on the right side of my cheek. You want me to do drunk talk? Okay. Last, the idea was for Kakusu to give me an exact readout of my current blood alcohol level. Okay.
Affirmative. Mimi will help you with her dress now.
Alright. I stood up carefully, steadying myself on the vanity. Mimi was across the room, helping a tall brunette girl into a beautiful flowy green dress. I took a deep breath and walked over. Mimi's face crinkled at the sight of me.
Alright, let's see.
She looked down at her clipboard, searching for my name. Hana. Oh, right, here you are. She turned to a large metal clothing rack behind her. Her hand covered over the dresses before picking out a bright, glittering magenta dress. That's my dress? Mimi smirked, looking quite pleased with my reaction. Mm-hmm. Jared picked it out specifically for you. He said it went with your hair. I gulped. I questioned a lot of things about Jared and our relationship, but this tasty clothing was never one of them.
Alright. Now hurry up and get dressed. You're walking in 5 minutes.
You want me to change here? I glanced around nervously. The room was full of people. There was no time for shame, which Mimi made sure to emphasize with an impatient tapping of her foot. Now! I positioned my face away from as many people as possible before dressing down to my underwear. I covered myself as much as I could with one arm as I unsteadily stepped into my dress. My knees threatening to give out under me. Mimi zipped up the back and then whirled me around the face a full-length mirror. The sudden motion made my stomach churn. I stared at myself, mouth agape. The neckline punched all the way down my chest. The dress was fitted, and the fabric punched at my feet. It was itchy and way too long. I sucked in a deep breath. Oh yeah, and Hana? No glasses on the runway. Mimi snatched my glasses right on my face before I could react. I can't see well without my glasses. It's just a straight line. You can walk in a straight line, can't you? In my current state, that was questionable. Mimi turned back to his large rack of shoes. If the dress is too long, you'll have to wear heels. She considered her options before selecting a silver pair, 4 inches long. Here. I took them and looked them over. But I've never walked in heels. I don't know if I even can. Tears stung my eyes. I desperately held them back, not wanting to ruin my makeup or go out on stage with red puffy eyes. Mi's face softened for a moment, but then she frowned. It's not my fault you're too damn sharp for your dress. She huffed and left. I sat down on the floor, careful not to ruin the dress. I pulled the shoes on and wobbled to my feet, feeling like a baby giraffe standing for the very first time. Oh god! I drew in a deep breath and steadied myself with the wall. You can do this, Hana! You can do this! Yeah, you just have to focus!
Who are you talking to, Hana?
No one. I mean, myself.
It's time for you to get in line. May I assist you?
I took Hakusu's arm. She led me to the edge of the stage, where a line of girls and guys were waiting for their turn to walk on.
Here you are, Hana.
I sighed as she left. My heart was beating wildly in my chest. I clenched and unclenched my fists to try and steady the nervous tremors that crept into my fingers. I just had to walk. Well, walk and turn around and then walk again. That didn't sound so hard. I took a deep breath and concentrated my mind on Jared. If he thought I could do it, then surely I could, right? Well, I got shorter and shorter until finally I was next. I watched the boy in front of me step confidently out of the stage. He was dressed in a blue sequin tuxedo that lit up as soon as the bright lights on the stage hit it. I peeked out from behind the curtain, squinting against the brightness. I scanned the audience carefully. Where are you, Jared? Without my glasses, it was hard to see. Luckily, I didn't need perfect vision to spot that paperback that I could only assume was Jared in the front row. He was sitting between two blurry blobs that looked like Satch and PBG. I relaxed a bit, but it was short-lived. Walk! Someone hissed at me from the shadows, and I stumbled forward, my head skipping a beat. My eyes were suddenly bathed in a blinding light. Cheers erupted in the audience from who I assumed to be mine, the Normal Boots Club. I put one foot in front of the other, trying desperately not to make a fool of myself. As I wobbled down the runway, I glanced to where Jared was seated. He waved and gave me a thumbs up. The gesture gave me a tiny surge of confidence. It must have helped because I made it to the end of the runway without incident. A smile crept across my face as I paused and struck what I hoped was not a completely stupid pose. Cheers rang out again. I turned around and started back. I made it about halfway. Oh god! Hiccups. I continued to walk, but it happened again. Somewhere went wrong. Distracted by my hiccups, I stepped incorrectly. Or maybe my foot slipped or got caught on the dress. At some point, however, I went down. It happened in slow motion. The runway drew closer to my face. My hands slid out to catch myself. I squeezed my eyes shut. I fell, smashing my face against the floor. Gasps flew around me like ghosts. I felt the color drain from my face. I tried to stand up and fell again, this time on my knee. Again, I tried to stand and fell. No matter how hard I tried, I could not stand again. I stared at my hands on the stage, my eyes watering. My hands! I moved them out and pulled myself across the catwalk like a slinky or a snail. It was almost fun if it weren't for the everything that made it not. I made it backstage as the next girl strode out from behind the curtain. I was greeted with silence by the staff. Mimi stood by the clothes rack at the back of the room, staring at me with a sly expression. I didn't say anything. Someone lent me their arm, and I stood with quivering legs. I only realized now how little strength they had. I must have been very afraid for them to go limp on me like this. Someone led me to a chair and set me down. I stayed there for a while, looking at my hands until... Hana, are you okay? Oh, come on. Are you okay? I nodded silently. Why are you wearing Aiko's dress? I couldn't understand what he was talking about. My head was absolutely swimming from the potent mix of alcohol and embarrassment. Aiko's dress? Yes, that's Aiko Yoshida's dress. Who put you in that dress? All at once it hit me. I glanced over to where Mimi had been standing, but she was gone. You're telling me this isn't my dress? No! Aiko is way taller than you, and besides, I would never have chosen that color for you. He took my trembling hands in his, kneeling down to look me in the eyes. I turned my head away in shame, but Jared gently turned it back with a finger under my chin. Your dress was blue. I picked it because it perfectly matched your eyes. It was going to be the climax of the show, the most important piece of the whole collection. I thought if you wore it, maybe you could see how beautiful you are. I thought you could see yourself the way I see you. I opened my mouth to tell him what Mimi did, but then I shook my head. Mimi may have tried to sabotage me, but I knew that my own poor decision was ultimately the reason I fell on stage. I had to be honest with him. I needed to come clean. Jared, I'm drunk. He blinked at me. God, that explains... Why are you drunk? I didn't even know you drank. I don't. I was just so scared. So I want to have a little, but I think I had too much. How much did you drink? 3 cans. Hana, you're tiny and a woman, and you have no tolerance. You're not used to the effects. I know it was stupid. Tears pricked the back of my eyes. Jared shook his head. No, I didn't mean... You should have told me it was such a big deal for you. But I wanted to help you, and you said I was beautiful, and it was such a big deal for you. Shh. Jared pulled me into a hug. Is this okay? Not too much PDA? I shook my head. This is fine. I needed this. Thank you for doing this for me, Hana. I nodded into his shoulder. But why was it such a big deal for you? He pulled away from me, looking at me in the eyes. I guess after all of this, you deserve to know, don't you? The thing is... Hello, you two. The nurse showed up out of nowhere and made a beeline right for me. Terror flooded right through me. I found out that I was drunk. My entire scholarship would be in jeopardy.
Are you feeling alright?
I was in the audience and saw you fall. Are you alright? It looked quite painful. I'm fine. I held my breath, too terrified to speak, suddenly self-conscious of my every action. If only I could get a hold of how I was moving, then it wouldn't be apparent, right? I glanced at Jared, who was looking at the creeps with as much fear as I was. I'll do a quick checkup on your leg, just to make sure. He bent down in front of me and tweaked my ankle. Do you feel anything there? No. His head shot up and he gave me a very strange look. Then do you feel this? He tapped the top of my knee. No. He gave me a sharp look. Speak to me again. I clamped my mouth shut and shook my head. Creeps placed his head next to mine, looking eye to eye with me. What is your name? Hana Mizuno. I see. He stepped away from me. And who snuck alcohol into the school? I froze and stared at him, eyes wide. I can smell it on your breath. What should I do? I couldn't tell him it was mine, but if I said it was me, my scholarship... My thoughts were slow and sluggish, like I was trying to hold on to wet rubber balls but dropping them into a muddy stream. I should... Not going to tell me? I drew in a deep breath. It was... I did it! Jared stood up next to me, and my jaw dropped open. Jared? I did it. I'm sorry. Mr. McMaster frowned. Jared, we're going to the headmaster's office.
Miss Mizuno.
Miss Mizuno, I know what kind of situation you're in. Go straight to your room to sober up. Try not to get caught by anyone else on the way there. I don't know that they'd be as lenient as I'm being. He looked regretful for a moment. Then, if you really are under so much stress, you should come see me. There are healthier ways you can learn how to deal with this. Tears filled my eyes, but I said nothing. Well then, come with me, Jared. Jared shot me one last look, but it was not what I expected to see. He didn't seem angry. He didn't look sad. Instead, he seemed urgent, as if he were saying, "Get out of here." He wasn't even worried about himself. I wiped the tears from my face, then stood for my chair. If I left out of the back door and walked quickly, I could make it in time. I made it to the room without incident, but as I walked in and shut the door, I collapsed on the ground. I was so tired. Why was I so tired? Hana! I rushed to my side. I saw you fall, but they wouldn't let me backstage again. Are you okay? Jared got in trouble.
What?
What? Tell me what happened. I told her about how Jared took the fall for her and for me. My tears making it difficult to talk. Jared did that for me? For you? What are we going to do? I don't know. Look, you're in no shape to be thinking about this, and I'm not sure there's anything we can do. She lifted me by the arm and led me to my bed. Don't worry about anything. She handed me a full glass of water. Drink. I obeyed. Good, now sleep this off. I'm sure by the time you wake up, things will have restabilized themselves somehow. I nodded. Mai helped me into my PJs and I crawled under my covers. I was so tired, my eyes were so heavy. I just wanted to forget that this all happened. Hana? Hana? Someone's at the door. I think you should answer it. I sat up groggily, then suddenly a sharp pain struck my head. Oh my god! My stomach felt raw, like it was set on fire and was trying to return to normal functioning. It was nausea, but the most burning form of nausea I ever experienced. Oh gosh, are you hungover? Never mind. That can wait later. That can wait until later. Answer the door. I pulled on some clothes, making each movement with care, so as not to upset my stomach even further. Across the room, and after a cursory glance in the mirror, I opened the door.
Hana.
Hana? Jared! Jared, why did you do that? Why did you take the blame? You have the perfect reputation and you're gonna get in so much trouble and... It's fine. The creeps and I made up a story that I snuck alcohol backstage to cope with the pressure from the show. He said that's why I didn't perform in the first place. They didn't say anything about you or any other students. I still got in trouble, but because of my perfect reputation, I'm mostly letting it slide. But why? You were in trouble, and I don't know. I did it on impulse. I guess I wanted to protect you, and I did. I could tell he was smiling weakly under the bag, but as my own anxiety faded, I noticed how lethargic he seemed. I stepped out into the hallway with him and shut the door behind me. What's wrong? God damn it, stop that! What's wrong? You can tell something is bothering me? Is it obvious, even through the bag? I don't think it's obvious, but... He sighed. Let's go for a walk. We stepped out into the night air. I remembered how just a few weeks earlier, I was out on another night, running from Jared in fear. It was then that I found out he had a terrible secret. Now, was he going to tell me another one? We walked in silence for a while. Jared had his hands in his jacket pockets. I imagined his hands were warmer than my own, but I was glad that my hands were cold. It distracted me from the pounding in my head. It's about my family. I might have mentioned that I was raised to know a lot about the traditional Japanese arts. That's true. My family's well known. Well, you'd know. My family's name isn't Knabenbauer. It's Nadeshiko. I stopped in my tracks.
Nadeshiko? Isn't that the name of...
The Nadeshiko School of Traditional Japanese Arts, founded in 1644. We've been around for hundreds of years. Pioneers in the traditional forms of dance, calligraphy, flower arrangement, adornment, kendo, and yes, tea ceremonies. The Nadeshiko School of Traditional Japanese Arts. Among artisans, it was known primarily as the Institute. My parents talked about it all the time in the shop. My mom wanted to get into a class there. Had even been saving up before she got sick. My dad always looked to their designs for inspiration when arranging the flower displays. Each spring, when new designs came out, the name floated around the dining room table for weeks. And here was the apparent flesh and blood of the Institute himself, standing right before me.
But you're...
Too rebellious and free-spirited to ever be tamed by an ancient tradition and distinguished family name? I know. I was going to say white. As you would expect, being raised with such a history, I was expected to carry on the family name and not besmirch our reputation. My birth kind already ruined that, though.
Is that why your last name is Knabenbauer?
He nodded. My father took a mistress, my mother. I took her name because she was never allowed to have his. When my father died and my mom, through a series of events, was incorporated as a head of one of the branches. She thinks if I can just behave well enough, eventually I will be accepted and allowed to run a branch of the school, if not the whole thing. I'll be rich, we'll be set for life, we'll have the fame and prestige we've deserved, and she'll finally be acknowledged by her husband's, lover's family. I think to her it's what she needs to feel like she can see him again after she dies.
Jared?
Right? So, it's a lot of pressure. I've been expected to be perfect my whole life. And when you're as naturally flawless as me, it's not too hard. But it can be demanding. Failure isn't tolerated. Loss of image isn't tolerated. I don't think I've had a true friend until coming here and meeting the Normal Boots Club. It took years to convince my mother to let me come here. Only prestige of the academy saved me. I was able to have fun here. All the ceremonies and shows I did, all the tournaments and announcements, and even my girlfriends. He glanced at me sheepishly. Sorry. For the first time, maintaining an image was half work and half fun. But now, I guess, all that work meant nothing. He stared wistfully at the night sky. The headmaster is going to call my mother, and she's going to find out. Maybe she'll be able to keep it under wraps, I don't know. My mom can be very scary, ruthless even. But it'll definitely get around the school, and from there, well, my image is ruined. He sighed. It's weird, I've worked for my entire life, for some 17 years to keep this up. I couldn't tell if I hated it or I loved it. But now that it's ruined, I feel sad. I miss it.
Jared, you threw away so much because of me.
No. Hey, stop. I'm not telling you this to make you feel bad, but, well, now you know. He rubbed his arms. I could tell he was smiling under the bag. It's cold. What do you say we go inside? We returned to the girls' dorm, making our way slowly to my room. I didn't know what to say. The truth of Jared's upbringing, the entirety of what he sacrificed by accepting the blame, it was too much for me to process. It definitely wasn't making my headache any better. We reached my room and Jared shuffled away awkwardly. Well then, I guess... I put a hand to my mouth. It felt really weird. My headache was getting worse. Oh, my stomach was burning even more. Hana, are you okay? I put a hand on my forehead, He put a hand on my forehead, looking at me with concern.
I don't feel...
Oh no. He pulled me by the arm, spinning it down the hall. Hold it in, hold it in! Hold it in, please hold it in! He flew into the bathroom and Jared practically threw me into a stall. And just in time, I keep saying things in Jared's voice. As Jared gathered my hair in his hands, I vomited like I've never vomited before. Isn't this nice? No! No! Jared chuckled quietly. We've gotten ourselves into quite hell of a mess. We've gotten ourselves into one hell of a mess, haven't we? He tenderly rubbed my back. I was embarrassed, horribly embarrassed, but I was also beyond the point of feeling that embarrassment. I just wanted it to end. I guess everyone will hate me now.
What?
Well, I'm not what I pretended it to be. People like me because I was perfect, and now that I'm not.
That's not true.
It'll be interesting to see how it turns out, won't it? He chuckled again. I don't like to admit it, but I'm scared. When I was done, I kicked him out of the bathroom and cleaned myself up. It was horrifying that he saw me like that, but at the same time, I was more preoccupied with what he was going through to worry about something so comparatively small. After giving up so much for me, what made seeing me throw up such a big deal? I washed my mouth out and borrowed someone's tube of toothpaste before returning to the hall. Jared was waiting for me in front of my door.
All right.
So, I guess this is goodbye now. I nodded sheepishly.
Jared, thank you.
No, I should be thanking you. Things have been changing for me ever since I met you. Without you, He stopped himself. Anyway, thank you. He turned and left. I watched him go, guilt mingling with gratefulness in my empty stomach. I returned to my room, once again feeling exhausted. Mai turned over in her bed to look at me, but instead of talking to me, she smiled. I smiled back at her. She turned over again. She probably knew that I didn't want to talk about it. I changed back into my pajamas and climbed into my bed, trying to think of ways to help Jared. His relationship with his mother seemed so difficult. If my father was like that with me, there was no way I'd be able to do anything. The only reason I was even here was because my father supported and cared about me so much. Even if his mother had those expectations, she didn't know. Didn't she know they were unreasonable? Maybe it was naive of me, but I thought maybe if he could talk to her honestly and tell her how he felt. But then, would that even do anything? And then chapter 4 starts, I think. Yeah, pretty sure. Yes. So I'm going to save it here. Blurg. Nice save name. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll be finishing up this run, this route, next time. Probably I'll be getting the bad end first. But we'll be going for the best end, of course. So see you guys next time, and have a good one. Thanks for watching the stream.